Good evening. Welcome again to Varsity Sports Live for the final time in 2019 as we had the championship games in North Dakota tonight. Jody Norstedt standing by with those highlights. And South Dakota finishes up a two-day run in Brookings. Moved it out of Vermilion this year because they're working on the Dakota Dome. And what were your thoughts on the games being played at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium in Brookings?
Everybody knew that Brookings could put a great show on, but everybody was worried about the weather. Yeah. And the weather turned out fantastic. I mean, the wind is the one thing that could really change people's game. I mean, it's a little cold, but they had heaters going on, and it wasn't that cold. No wind. It really turned out. It was great.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it forever.
Yeah, one-year deal. Goes back to Vermilion next year. But let's run down the Thursday games, and then we'll get to North Dakota's highlights tonight, and then we'll get to the South Dakota games that were played tonight. So let's start with 9AA.
9A.
9A.
That's how we kicked it off.
Britton-Hecla and Canistota-Freeman, and a little tribute there to Trevor Zolke, who is recovering in the hospital for Britton-Hecla. Braves get out to the early lead. Cole Fosness had 2 touchdowns on the day.
Yeah, they got the momentum right away. They had that great crowd behind them, but then Canistota kept throwing punches. This was a heavyweight fight, trust me, back and forth, back and forth.
8-8 end of the first quarter. Both teams ran for 278 yards. Second quarter here, Trey Ortman to Tice Ortman, older brother to the taller younger brother there, and then Mason Jones right back at him for Britton-Hecla.
Yeah, Mason Jones was doing some running early. Stanley Haskins not 100% in this one, and that cost him a little bit later, but he gutted it out.
Ortman picks it back up. Great grab by Colin Homme for Canistota-Freeman, and that leads to a Tice Ortman touchdown. Ortman had 114 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. 22-16, Canistota-Freeman in the lead. They fumbled 3 times, though, lost 2 of them. Andrew James on this one for Britton-Hecla.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities that were seized by Britton-Hecla in the first half to stay in this football game, and Cole Fosness was huge. And then Stanley Haskins, he subbed in and started playing defense later in this first half. We'll see that later, how that affected the game.
It was tied 22-22, Jandy, and then Trey Ortman bouncing outside. He ran for a couple, threw for another one, but Britton-Hecla comes right back with Aiden Fredrickson. Touchdown. It's 30-28. This game was just back and forth and close all the way through. And then here's Stanley Haskins, who you're talking about.
Here's where I thought we were before. This was his first series in on defense, and this guy's got a bum something, lower leg injury, and somehow still outruns and makes some moves. I mean, he totally gutted that one out, and the crowd was definitely behind the Britton-Hecla Braves at that point.
That goes 96 yards. This is all in the first half. It's 34-30. Britton-Hecla and Haskins Jr. in the lead at halftime, but then Canistota-Freeman in the second half. Tice Ortman again. That was the only points of the third quarter.
Yeah, everything slowed down in the second half. The defenses got the best of each team.
And then the only points of the fourth quarter coming up here. Another Canistota-Freeman touchdown. Trey Ortman on the sneak. So after all of that, where it was 34-30 in the first half, Canistota-Freeman tacks on 2 in the second half, and they finish up 11-1 on the season. Bailey Sage with the trophy there, 46-34 the final.
Yeah, back-to-back for the newly formed co-op, just 2 years old. Canistota-Freeman getting it done, and after the game, Trey Ortman was named the player of the game, and he talked to us.
We knew we were in for a tough one. It was just like, holy crap, this is a high-scoring game. We just didn't think anyone was going to stop. Like, coming into it, we were like, this is going to be a defensive battle. That's what I was thinking. But then it just was big play after big play. It was kind of surprising.
Well, there's no better way to go out than on top. And I'm just really proud of our team and our coaching staff. And, we got ourselves in a hole shooting ourselves in the foot there. But that was a way to rally back and play some pride football.
We just needed to come together, and that's the greatest thing about this team this year is that no matter what they've faced, no matter what's come around, they always have the ability to pick each other up and still rally for the collective good. I'm so very proud of what they were able to do today.
Yeah, cool story, back-to-back, and their colors are great. I love
the
Virginia Tech color combination.
The Freeman and the Canistota colors together. Everybody knows about Britton-Hecla and all the trouble that they've been through this year with the Trevor Zolke injury, and that's taken a toll. Pat Renner stepped down after the game as the head coach. He's just a changed person. But Canistota-Freeman's been through a lot too. They lost a player earlier in the year from their student body, and then They've had to fight injuries. Bailey Sage had a sprained MCL. He played through it. I mean, just a lot of resilience from both these two teams is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and they both finish up 11-1. That was the first loss of the year for Britton-Hecla right there, but 9A champs, Canistota-Freeman. The second game of the day was Viborg-Hurley taking on Bonham, and Viborg-Hurley 4-4 last year.
Yeah, missed
Didn't
the
make
playoffs.
This is one of the biggest turnarounds we've seen. Quick safety, though, for Bonham as they mess up the punt here. And it's 2-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Viborg-Hurley's not known for starting strong, and they kept up what they were known for in this game.
Riley Rothschadel to Josh Crownover. Bonham out to a 9-0 lead. And then Viborg-Hurley got going here. Chase Mason to Shane Anderson, and this was the connection all day.
Oh, he looked comfortable back there. Shane Anderson's been making those big plays. He's a great defensive end, but a great wide receiver as well, and he really showed up on this one.
So Anderson was just waiting on that first one. They go across the field this time, and Anderson scores again, and it's 12-9 Viborg-Hurley after getting down early. Bonham comes right back though. Crownover, 45 yards on the ground, but one of a touchdown there for Boots. So Bonham back in the lead. Viborg-Hurley with Mason on the quarterback draw, and this goes all the way. It's Viborg-Hurley by 2 at halftime.
He's a tremendous athlete. Maybe a really good, maybe a better basketball player than he is a football player, but looks so comfortable on this field.
Bonham comes right back in the third quarter. Noah Heesh to the outside and gone. That's 74 of his 109 yards on the ground there. And Bonham back in front, 24-18. But then Viborg-Hurley scores the next 32 points, the final 32 points of the game. And Mason,
The final 32.
on a delay up the middle here. He had 196 yards rushing. He had 220 yards passing. And he accounted, it was double trouble. 6 touchdowns total. Mason here, even when they stop him, they don't stop him.
He is so fantastic at shifting and then turning the burners on. He could get to the outside, he could score through the middle, he can score with his arm.
Just weaving all over through defenders.
He was unbelievable out there. I think he's got a lot of colleges knocking on his door with that performance.
So Viborg-Hurley just kind of blows it open in this second half. There's Carter Gust, who had some yards on the ground as well. He gets his.
That's where they could feel it. I mean, they had been reeling off these touchdowns back to back to back, but I think that's where they really could feel that they had this game under control.
And this is a great catch by Anderson. He had 4 catches, 108 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. And the final is 50-24, and Viborg-Hurley is pounding people all season. This is a great bottom team again, but 50-24 is the final. And the Cougars, with their state championship, they go undefeated.
What a ride for them. 1 win to 2 wins to missing the playoffs last year with 4 wins, and now landing on top of the mountain. We talked with the Cougars after the game.
I was telling him 4.5 years ago, I said, this is the year. Because I believed in these guys so much, and I coached them when they were in the 6th grade before I even came back to teaching. And I told them when I came back to teaching, I said, this is the year that they're going to go to the state championship and they're going to win it. And I knew if I stayed with it these last 4 years and kept doing what I was doing, that would work out, and it did.
You know, they have been there for every single game. You know, we got lucky. We came in and we went 8-0 in our regular season, so we had home field advantage, and that thing was packed every time. I owe it to the water boys, the stats girls, the team, the coaches, the fans, everything part of Viborg-Hurley. I owe it to them. Amazing.
It was crazy seeing everyone out here. I think like 1,000 shirts were sold for like state, and they could barely get them here. They had to give them out in the parking lot. So this 2 communities coming together is unbelievable, and just they're great to us. So.
Congrats to the Stats girls. It's all about the Stats girls.
They do
They're
a lot of
here-
hard,
they
do a
do.
lot of hard work. They
Thankless
really do,
work.
don't they? But it's cool to see, as Coach said there, just how you get a really talented group of kids and you get a coach that's dedicated and you give them 3 or 4 years to build that up, and this is what happens.
You know, he talked about this year being the year, but Chase Mason's junior, folks. They got a lot of young players in this team. Viborg-Hurley's going to be good for a couple years.
All right, 9 AA champions, Viborg-Hurley this year. In 9B, Jandy, Colman-Egan coming in undefeated. Herreid-Selby areas kind of in the Cinderella.
The Road Warriors.
They come in at 9-2, and this is Chase Hemmer. Is that a touchdown?
This is the first reviewed play that got overturned in state history. But they scored right in the next play anyway.
There's going to be some sore arms by the end of the day with all the points that Colman-Egan scored here. Wade Begman, though, for Herreid-Selby to Trey Seiler for the touchdown. Bunch of Begemans there.
Bunch of Begemans.
But it was 38-6 Colman-Egan at halftime, and then more in the second here. Ryan Volker, nice little move there to split the defense. He gets in for the touchdown.
They were without their leading rusher in this game, Eli Bowen, and they just found Chase Hemmer. They found, great plays from their quarterback. This guy, another huge play. A lot of athletes on this team.
Superman finished there for Volker. He had 12 carries, 3 of them for touchdowns. And then Nate Tolley, this is a nice run as well. 19 carries, 167 yards, 4 touchdowns for Tolley. And the Hawks get her done undefeated. Dalton Volker, big 87 there with the trophy. As Colman-Egan rolls in 90, 58-6 is the final. Colman-Egan ran it 39 times, Jandy. They threw it twice in this game, but 379 yards rushing for the Hawks in the win.
They had such a dominant season, and it's really fun to see what Chad Williamson has built here. He chatted with us after the game as well as the seniors.
Is our line blocked well, good physical. Our running backs ran hard, played hard as a team, and that's what, when you do all those things, it helps you put points on the board.
This is what we worked for ever since we were freshmen. We had seniors to lead us, to teach us how to do it, and we did it, and we worked for this.
I mean, the one in 17, I was only a sophomore, but all those seniors, they were leaders for us, and I was like, we'll step up and we'll be leaders for our younger ones too.
3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 for Colman-Egan. Pretty cool.
And they've got great tradition going back for 30 years in Colman-Egan in football. Great year for Herreid-Selby, though. They finished 9-3 on the year.
Yeah, you can't deny what they've done, and so much pride on the road, and they put a good fight up, just didn't have enough horses to last throughout.
All right, let's get to the final game on Thursday night in South Dakota. It was the 11A championship. Canton and Lennox. Canton 9-2. They lost those first 2 games of the year. They've run it since then. Lennox at 7-4 coming in, Jandy, and Caden Verley threw 3 passes, completed all of them. Shaden Scheit had 1 catch, and it goes for a touchdown here.
He told me last week he's not very good at throwing the football, but looked all right there.
Avery Herding grabbing some cloth, a sack there, and then this was pretty funny. Burley just tearing stuff up, but see how polite he is here.
The cameraman can't even tackle this guy with the triax cable. I mean, nobody can take this guy down.
And then a field goal. He does it all. Verley with a field goal here, and then another touchdown. Verley going left. Couple of blocks by Scheit here to get him into the end zone. 18-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, and, it was close at the end of this first quarter, and Lennox didn't let it get out of hand in the first half. They put a nice little run together. They can pass the ball.
Caleb Metcalf with a catch right there to get it close, and then Hayden Mendel with a touchdown run. 94 yards for Mendel. So 18-8 at halftime.
But here we go. Avalanche time.
Then, Canton all over it in the second half. They get their other young quarterback here. Throwback to Jaden Dominici, who had 1 catch, and that went for a touchdown. And then watch Verley here.
Oh, this is the longest run in 11A championship history, 91 yards. And this is just what this guy does. He finds a little crease, and then he outruns everybody. He's a great kicker, great passer, great catcher. Unbelievable on the ground. He had 309 yards?
309 yards for Verley. That's Xander Elling right there for another Canton touchdown. Little Seahawks celebration, 46-18 as they get the shutout in the second half, and Canton, the 11A champion.
This just happened to be Rich Lundstrom's 100th career victory. Pretty cool to do that in this fashion. He talked to us after the game.
It's awesome. That's the best feeling in sports. I'm really happy for the kids. These seniors have been playing since they were sophomores, most of them, a couple of them since they were freshmen, and they've really worked hard and bought into what we were trying to sell them. So I'm really happy for them and proud of them.
We got Coach David. He's the best coach I've ever had. He puts together schemes every week. He's spending hours after games just watching film, breaking down teams, and it shows. It just shows.
Coach Lundstrom is one of the best coaches. We run a simple offense, but he knows how to master it, Yeah, I get a little bit tired, but, my adrenaline, that helps a lot, and just playing for your teammates. Yeah, it's a tough day after the game, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
He told me afterwards he wants to play football next year, not sure where. Might be kicker, might be an athlete, but I asked him if he ever gets tired because he's always on the field. I haven't seen a player do it in all three phases like that since Matt Vandenberg at Brandon Valley or Nate Gary at Washington.
All right, the champions there, Canton. What a great season for them. So many great coaches that dedicated so much time, and it shows up here in these championship games.
Yeah, Canton had a good team this year, and they did it on defense.
All right, we'll get to tonight's Friday night games in South Dakota when we come back a little bit later. First, we're going to go, when we come back, to North Dakota and the highlights of the night in the Dakota Bowl games, all four of them. Bismarck Century. Jody Norstedt coming up next with the night in championship football in North Dakota.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics, South Dakota State University, and Farmers Union Insurance.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live here on Championship Night in high school football.
So fun.
South Dakota.
Love championship night.
Jody Norstedt has been busy in Fargo today, and all four championship games up there on the same day on championship day. And Jody, we had, I think, a first time. Somebody won for the first time. Is that right? Let's get to these highlights.
Yeah, Kidder County did in 9-man. So congrats to the Wolves. They're partying it up tonight. But the rest of the winners, they've won in recent years. So there's a couple of the juggernauts continuing to do what they do best. But let's take a look at the highlights from the Class 3A championship game. This one just getting over. Sheyenne making its first appearance. Bismarck Century, they've been there before, trying to win their first since they got it done a couple of years ago, back-to-back. Century looking to the air, or Sheyenne looking to the air here. Tyler Terhart gets the connection with Grant Workentine. 1:15 left in the first half. That was their biggest play. Then Cheyenne still driving. 19 seconds left with the ball in the 12. Workentine takes a shot in the end zone. Picked off by Jace Anderson. But watch this. Boom! Alex Goodiron knocks the ball loose. Mustangs recover with 8 seconds left, but they have another shot. How about that? Then on the very next play, Workentine looks for the end zone again, and yeah, it's picked off again. This time by Skylar Reedinger. So we go into the break tied at zeros after all that. Early in the third, Cheyenne looks to get the offense going. Jeremy Newton trying to figure things out. Good way to do that is find number one, Tyler Terhart. Look at that nice sliding catch by the future Bison. But later in the drive, facing a 4th and 12, Workentine throws it to Colby Angeles, but he bobbles it, and Andrew Walter has a gift in his hands, takes it back for a nice long return. And check out the Century fans getting into it. This is the best part about Dakota Bowl. Look at how energized those fans are. Century takes advantage of the short field. 14-yard TD, Cade Feeney to Reedinger. Look at that catch, look at that throw. More importantly, we have points. 7-0 Century at the end of 3. Early in the fourth, Century back with the ball after a 3-and-out by Cheyenne, and Feeney on the design run. And we've seen him do this a lot this year, fellas. Whoop! Boy, ankle breaker for a big gainer. That would set up this. A 37-yard field goal by Wade James makes it 10-0 in favor of Century. Fans loving that. Then with 5:37 to go in the game from the 24, Workentine looks for Terhart, but those DBs for Century, they were the real deal in this one. Cody Sorensen makes the interception. That drives the nail in the coffin as the Patriots run down the rest of the clock, and Century is your Class 3A champs. The celebration is on. They win it by a final of 10-0. Cade Feeney with another outstanding performance. 19 carries, 140 yards. He only passed 7 times, but completed 3 of those for 36 yards and a score. Cade Garcia didn't have to do much. Feeney carried the load, but this was just a really good defensive battle. So give credit to Cheyenne for playing terrific defense against Century, and the Patriots doing the same thing against a really good Mustangs offense, holding Pennu to under 80 yards on the game. Here's some reaction from the Century Patriots. Remember, they lost on the last play last year against Bismarck, trying to rally late. They lost. Well, this time they flipped the script. They won.
I know that for me, last night I watched the last play of last season, and it just motivated me. And I know that a lot of our guys just coming into this game, it was just a different feeling on the bus, and you can just tell that these guys work too hard. And I know Sheyenne worked hard too, but it feels different this year than last year. So they gave us a heck of a run, and I think the big momentum swing was Skylar Readinger's catch in the end zone.
Yeah, I just hit a post corner, and I just saw the ball in the air. It was a perfect ball by Cade, perfect defense by them, but I just gave it all I could on that play.
Just Sky making plays all year around, and we call him the momentum guy just with baseball. State championship last year, he just steps up and makes a play every time, and happy to have him on my team, heck of a player.
Well, the one thing that we kept telling our guys is just keep everything in front of us defensively and offensively. We wanted to go downhill a little bit more, and that's what we talked about at halftime. Just maybe a little less pulling by our guards and just get behind our big guys up front and let them work.
This is what it's all for. We're working out in the summer every morning, every single day. It's what it's for. We came out on top, and that's what we wanted.
I was here when I was a freshman, back when we won it back-to-back, and I didn't necessarily play on the field or play in the game, but I was a part of helping those guys be prepared for that. And I had that feeling, and I kept it with me from my freshman year. And this has been my goal, to get back here and finally play and win my own championship.
It's awesome. I remember watching those games 8th grade and freshman year, just sitting in those very same stands and getting to see all those seniors, my friends, go out there and play it. Some legendary moments. Adam Geiger's one-handed catch, Luke Little's one-handed catch. And we got to see Skylar Readinger have another great catch in the corner of the end zone. Just tremendous memories I'll have for the rest of my life.
Little history lesson from Nick Corum. That's awesome. Beulah back in the Dakota Bowl for the first time since winning the 2A title in 2015. And this is old hat for Hillsboro-Central Valley. Burrows making a third straight appearance, the first time playing for the 2A crown. You want to talk about physical? Nate Batteste plants Oscar Benson for a loss on 3rd and 4 for Beulah. Miners head coach Jim Dooley going to go to the whiteboard. If you haven't seen this offense before, it's unique. Batteste emerges from the unorthodox single wingback formation, goes for a big gain right in front of our camera. Very next play, though, a rare pass play for Beulah. Batteste looking downfield, but it's Mr. Interception. Gavin Wright, his 9th pick of the year. Beulah lost starting quarterback Trey Branch at the end of the regular season, and it hurt him. The Burros capitalize on the turnover. Oscar Benson rips off a big run, then catches this pass for Micah Gallagher, 32 yards. 7-zip HCV after a stop on D. Burrows strike again. Benson following the big guys. His 16th rushing touchdown of the year makes it 14-0. He also topped 1,000 yards rushing for the season in the game. Miners respond with a dominant drive of their own. Jace Lee, 22 yards. Beulah trims the lead to 14-6. Hillsboro-Central Valley now facing a 3rd and long in the final minutes of the first half. Aaron Ripplinger lands the big hit on Gallagher for a loss. So that forces a 4th and goal from the 14. Burrows figure, let's just take a shot to the end zone. Gavin Wright, why not, baby? Terrific catch by the senior, and Hillsboro-Central Valley takes a 21-6 lead into the break. Burrows add to their lead in the first drive of the 3rd. Gallagher behind Caden Passion and Zach Nelson makes it 28-6. Trailing by 22. Miners need points in a hurry. Tristan Miller crosses the goal line to make it 28-12 with 8:40 left. Scott Olson, though, delivers the final knockout punch with his fullback. Isaac Luthley, the team's leading tackler on defense, wouldn't be denied his shot at the end zone. That makes it 35-12, and let the dog pile begin. Hillsboro-Central Valley celebrates its 2nd title in 3 years, capping off a perfect 12-0 season with a victory inside the Fargo Dome. Boys in blue are celebrating again. Oscar Benson, 134 yards on the ground, a touchdown and a touchdown catch. Micah Gallagher, 2 completions, 2 touchdowns. Not bad. Tristan Miller and Nathan Batteste, 2 very good games for that Beulah Miners team, who actually won the time of possession battle, actually won the total yardage battle, but the Burros won what matters, and that's what was on the scoreboard.
We wanted to score right early and set the tone with that, and then we were expecting many different things out of them, and shifts and motions and misdirection, and they gave us that, but in the end it was power football, and we slowed them down enough to waste some time. We got a couple stops, got a quick turnover, got a couple turnovers actually in the passing game, and and then that big 4th down to Gavin Wright was a huge play. that he's just a super athlete, and we got the ball.
We motioned one of the running backs out at receiver over, and the safeties shifted, so I knew Gavin was going to be open for that jump ball in the corner there. Tried to put it where he could go get it.
It feels amazing playing with these guys since the 3rd grade. I mean, this is our one mission, just to end it on a high note. It definitely feels amazing.
Coming up short last year, it was a heartbreaker last year, and to be able to get back to this point and win today is just a surreal moment. It's amazing.
Offense was great today. Blocking was awesome. We had good passes. It was a great day overall.
What are you going to miss about this group?
Just everything. I've been with this group forever. I mean, I love these guys. They're family to me, and I'm going to miss them forever.
Bishop Ryan trying to crank up the energy, knowing they need every ounce of it in the Class A title game against Langdon-Edmore-Munich, a squad that has won 24 straight, including a 50-0 win in the semifinal round. Grant Romfo smacks into a defender, puts the Cardinals up 8-0 after the 2-pointer early. On a 3rd and 10, Bishop Ryan dials up some pressure. Jackson Feller off the edge stacks Simon Romfo for a big loss. Huge play for the Lions. It puts Langdon-Edmore-Munich in a 4th and 19, but that's no problem for the even-keel Cardinals. Simon Romfo hits tight end Cooper Zimmer over the middle for a 1st down. Back-to-back momentum swings, and Langdon scores a few plays later. Grant Romfo from 2 yards away again. He wears number 2, so it's fitting. 2 2-yard touchdowns for number 2. After a stop on defense, the Cardinals attack through the air. Romfo to Jackson Delvo, 51 yards. Delvo finishes the year with over 900 receiving yards, and this is touchdown number 15. Great senior season, 22 zip cards. Bishop Ryan in desperate need of a spark, and Jackson Feller doesn't just give a spark. He starts the place on fire. A spin, juke, and stiff arm. One of the great runs in Dakota Bowl history. He finishes a 65-yard touchdown, his 23rd TD of the year. Feller ends up just a few yards shy of 2,000 rushing yards for the season, and he's just a junior. But if there's a team that knows how to put out fires, it's the boys in maroon here. A methodical drive ends with Romfo dropping it into the hands of Sean Getty for a 3-yard score. 28-7 Langdon at the half. Lions head coach Roger Coleman, he had his hands full trying to slow down this offense. Simon Romfo floats a pass to his twin brother Grant. It's the 4th touchdown of the afternoon for Grant. Give him 30 offensive touchdowns on the season. Simon ends up with 244 passing yards, 3 scores, a $150 on the ground, and makes some more room in that trophy case. Langdon-Edmore-Munich wins a 2nd consecutive Class A title with a 42-14 victory. Huge games from the Romfos. Nick Sanders, 126 through the air and a touchdown for Bishop Ryan. Feller over 100 on the ground as well. But Langdon-Edmore-Munich, with the knockout punch, the Cardinals go undefeated. They were Goliath all season long.
Oh, it's unreal, I think it's just credit to a lot of our hard work paying off, and it just feels amazing. It was championship or bust this year, and we knew it. We just had to come out and play and just execute the game plan, just get it done.
Well, we knew it was big coming in. They were pretty good running backs, and they were pretty good up front, so we knew we just had to bottle them up and contain them and just do our jobs out there.
When you come into the year and return all them guys, you worry about complacency, but, obviously how these kids competed all year and just the dominance that they showed out in the football field throughout the whole season is pretty remarkable.
I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I got confidence that I can do it, so I just play with confidence, I think, and just do what I do.
Just trying to make plays every single game. That's the name of the game, just making plays.
I mean, that's the big thing. You get into these bigger games. Minot Ryan's a good football team, and they took some things away. But, Simon's, he's seen it all, and, he makes great reads for us. And Grant, he really stepped up his game. I don't think enough credit goes to our guys up front who, they're always undersized, but they compete for 4 quarters, and, they really got after him today.
You never think you'd make it to one of these games and to make it 3 years in a row and win 2. It's unbelievable.
You like scoring? Well, then you're going to love this. Kidder County, its first time as a co-op in the Dakota Bowl, trying to win a first state title for that co-op. Cavalier, well, these kids grew up watching state titles happen in 2013 and 2014. Kidder County started the game with the ball. Jonah Harder, the pitch to Parker Hager, makes a couple guys miss, 31 yards. Kidder County up quickly, 8-0. After forcing a turnover on downs, Kidder County strikes again. These boys showing no fear as it's Harder to Hager. A little bit of a wheel route, gets behind the defender. This guy's got some speed, 60 yards to the house, makes it 16-0 with just under 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Kidder County in striking range again. Peyton Calvin gets the pitch, and it looks like he's going to go out of bounds, but instead cuts upfield, and he's in familiar territory, but on the ground. Darn turf monster. 22-0 Kidder County. Jack Biesterfeld's team running away with it, but not so fast. Cavalier comes storming back. Thanks to this connection between Colton Richensky and Andre Courier. Courier, the future Bison, looking comfortable in his soon-to-be home. That sets up this 3-yard touchdown run from Tanner Erlob to make it 22-8. Erlob just stretching across the goal line. Ensuing kickoff, and it's a perfect onside kick, and Cavalier recovers it. That led to a Richensky rushing score from a yard out to trim the lead to 6. Cavalier had another opportunity to score, but here comes a game-changing play. Richensky gets hit as he throws, and it's picked off by a freshman big man, Blake Braun, with just under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Kidder County takes advantage of the short field, scores to make it 30-16. That would be the score heading to half. Then Cavaliers score to make it 30-24, and then they strike again to get their first lead of the game. Richensky to Erlob, 59 yards, 32-30 Cavalier. Here we go. Kidder County answers with a big play of its own as Harder is going to find a wide open Calvin for 72 yards. And these guys have been doing this all year. They've been averaging 300 yards on the ground, so figure why not open it up in the perfect environment. So 38-32. Kidder County scored 2 more times and went up 54-32, and then Cavalier tries to get one more drive going, but Hager picks it off, and boy, who else would you think would be doing that? Hager has been just one of the guys that's been the pulse of this team all season long, and for the first time in co-op history, Kidder County gets to hoist the hardware as state 9-man champs. Colton Richensky and that group over at Cavalier with an unbelievable season came into the Dakota Bowl undefeated on the year, but Kidder County, 1 loss on the season, are only 1-loss state champion in North Dakota, but the Kidder County Wolves get it done and make program history.
We've been working all week. It's just they've done everything. They've done option on us. They passed for us, and we knew how to defend it. So we just did our regular defense and played hard.
Well, I mean, we know they can score fast. They showed that in the first half. So we just kind of kept ground pounding them. Our O-line really took over there in the fourth quarter and giving it to our horse, Isaiah. The guys were just blocking, the wings were blocking, and we just kept getting first downs, got in the end zone again. It's awesome. So happy for these boys. They work so hard together. They play hard for each other. And they made a bunch of communities proud today.
Dakota Bowl, it's overwhelming. This is the first time our school's ever been here, so we had so much support coming out here, and it's just the best feeling I've ever felt so far in my life.
We did it. My teammates have worked so hard for this and couldn't ask for anything else. Greatest support. Our community is everything for us. Couldn't have asked for a better crowd.
I needed to switch up my moves as defensive end. I needed to do a rip or go under. I mean, you just got to switch it up on the moves, and that's how you can put pressure on the quarterback, and that's why they didn't complete as many passes. I'm going to be telling my kids this forever as soon as I have them. Every time I come to school, I'm going to look up at the wall, and there'll probably be a banner of all of us and a big giant trophy right on the wall that I can look at and be proud of.
I'm glad we end on that bite, because that is what it is all about. Down the road, when you look back and you go walk in the halls of your old school and see that banner up there, that's pretty special. So congratulations to the Kidder County Wolves, guys, and congratulations to all 4 champs. Great day.
Couldn't agree with you more, Jody. That's my favorite part of championship weekend is listening to the kids talk about their title win.
Yeah, it almost gives you chills, just listening to that and being like, man, I remember when I used to play. I didn't win as many games. I never reached a state championship, but cool. A lot of talented players out there on the field, a lot of just spectacular plays that only teams that are in a championship game can make it, whether it's the reading or catch to win it for Century or the plays that you saw in that last 9-man game in Class A. It was phenomenal.
Good work, Jody. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you guys later. See you next year.
Take a break.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, planning families and planning ahead. Your kids won't be that impressed when you tell them that you won, but it'll be.
You can show them that clip, though.
It'll be cool anyway.
Oh, that's great.
All right, when we come back, we will get to the Friday night games in South Dakota. Pierre and Brookings turned out to be a really good game in 11AA. We'll check on 11B and the nightcap with Brandon Valley and O'Gorman coming up next.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics, South Dakota State University, and Farmers Union Insurance.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live, finishing up with the Friday night games in South Dakota at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium in Brookings. Brookings had a home game in 11AA.
Things were a lot different than the first time they played. They got down 3 scores right away against Pierre the first time. They wanted to start off hot against Pierre this time. We'll see how it unraveled.
Governors 11-0, Brookings 10-1 coming into this game. Their only loss of the season.
And this class is real, by the way.
Was to Pierre. This
11AA
class
is a real
totally
class.
legit, I'm telling you. Garrett Stout with an early touchdown, and then the Govs muff a punt here, and Jackson Krogman is on it for the Bobcats.
That was
huge. They get a field goal here. This is Peyton Theodosopoulos, just a sophomore, knocks that through.
They got a penalty on that drive. They got the recovery on the punt. Things were going Brookings' way early.
Stout guns it in there to Josh Rowe. It's 13-3 at halftime. So this is a ball game. And then the Cats, as the Senator looks on. Cats with a big play coming up here. Parker Rikus. The catch there and avoids that tackle and picks up a big first down.
Little hesitation move. They got a couple backs who can get down the field. Parker Rikus, one of them.
Rikus finishes it off here. They missed the extra point after the touchdown, but tough run there by Rikus. So it's 13-9, Jandy.
They played a physical game. They were in this thing, 13-9, but then look what happens.
Ensuing kickoff. Garrett Stout lets it bounce.
His 4th kick return for a touchdown this year. He is the quarterback.
Great reaction on the sideline there. So Pierre hanging on to the lead here, and then some Governor defense. Reagan Bolweg with
What a
sack.
game. What a game by Reagan Bolweg. He came over from Miller Highmore Herald a couple years ago, and he always wanted to play at a high level, and he did tonight.
Stout behind a wave of blockers there. Matt Heilman with a great block. 26-9 Pierre at the end of the third. Brookings gets a touchdown from Carter Idom here, though, to make it 26-16.
They were physical in this game, but Garrett Stout, this guy has been hurt pretty much all season long, and he keeps on churning out tough yards.
One more touchdown for Stout. And Pierre blew him out in the regular season, but Brookings makes a game of it here. Governors go back to back to back and win it 32-16. Stout, 286 total yards rushing and passing, and then he had that kickoff return touchdown as well. So 350 total yards for Stout as the Governors go undefeated.
You know, it was very stressful. And I said that was our one question mark coming in was, how are we going to deal with playing a long 4-quarter grinding football game? And, you really got to credit Brookings. They had a very good game plan. They executed it very well, and we just made a couple more plays than they did today. This was a really special season, being able to go 12-0. I mean, I think it's very easy to think, 12-0 season's cool and all that, but you don't understand how many things have to go your way over the course of a season, because we felt like last year we were a very good football team and we lost 2 games, and the year before we were a good football team. We lost 3. So, I mean, it's just another level that the kids were able to stay focused and keep their head to the grindstone so long, and that's what was really special about this group.
It feels awesome. It's an unbelievable experience. I got to thank all the coaches making this possible. We got an awesome coaching staff, and we got an awesome group of guys. I'm really going to miss playing with them.
It's awesome. Just all the records we've been breaking, the sacks, I got that, close to the touchdowns, Stout with amazing stats, historical.
It definitely was. I mean, all year we haven't played into the 4th quarter, and they gave us a run for their money in the first half, and props to them. They came out hard, and we just kind of adjusted and did our thing in the second half. I'm proud of each and every one of these guys that played on. They're the best guys. I mean, they're the best teammates. They pick you up when you're down, and they always have your back.
Props to Garrett Stout, by the way. He's been playing. He's not been 100% healthy, but he keeps gutting it out. He kept rubbing every muscle and getting loosened up on the sidelines. He played both ways today. Impressive performance.
It is awesome. Gray Zabel there is their punter as well. They were really good on the line this year again. Great run for Pierre as they win 3 in a row. Brookings, 2 losses on the year. This is one of the best seasons they've ever had. And had it not been for Pierre, Brookings could have had a state championship there this year, but 10-2 on the year.
Came in with a great game plan. They were super physical in this game, and they let Pierre know that they were there. And it worked for the most part, just not enough to get past that monster year that Pierre had.
Right on. Good for the Govs, 3 in a row as they are the 11 AA champions. In 11B, Jason, Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan, 11-0. Winner, 11-0, coming in to this clash of the Titans. And Trevor Peters for winner there, 8-0. Brady Hawkins, though, comes back with a touchdown pass to Eric Gustafson.
Now, we're showing a couple passes here. This is very rare. These teams don't even average double-digit passes in a game, and all of a sudden we're seeing them both kind of open up here, and Brady Hawkins hits Chase Aaron for a nice little dance into the end zone.
Yeah, this is third quarter. Aaron had 4 catches. Seahawks go up 14-8. Peters comes back with a touchdown run. He had 123 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and they did review everything as Mr. Fegan gets it right here. So it's 14-14 at the end of the third quarter. In the fourth, only scoring right here. Hawkins, little pump fake, goes to Jonah Hofer for the touchdown, so it's 21-14.
Then it got crazy. It was a crazy last few minutes. Brady Hawkins, after 4 stops inside the 1, tries to steal the game. He coughs it up. It's recovered by Winter, and they've got a chance to take back the lead in this thing, or at least tie it.
Yeah, they're still down by a touchdown, but after that fumble, interception by Chase Aaron to sew it up for Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan. And yes, you go back to 2 minutes to play. Winter had it 1st and goal at the 1-yard line, and Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan stopped him.
They stopped him 4 times. They got him for a loss, stopped him again, and it was an incredible defensive performance. And they still had trouble getting out of it with the win. But after the game, they were pumped, as you could probably tell.
Yeah, it feels great. You know, like I said, we've had that bad taste in our mouth the last 2 summers and trying to work through that. And now this taste and the feeling we got right now is a great feeling, and we got that taken care of. So, you know, great win for our kids, and I give them all the credit. That's why you do this. You know, that's why you're in this game with these kids, to be part of that thing. And game like this, you know, with a great team like Winter, that tradition, coming out here, knocking heads and going with Coach Aker there, he just does a great job. I can't say enough about him, you know, but the battle was right there, come down to the last seconds. You know, that's what it's all about.
I just read his eyes, and I started flowing the way he flew, and I just caught it, and I mean, it was just unbelievable. We just had to come out here and compete. We knew they were going to come try and punch us in the face, and we just had to answer.
I came into this game thinking that, you know, this is the last ever chance I get to put a jersey on, put pads on, be out on a field, and I said I wanted to go out the right way, and that's what I told my teammates, you know, all those seniors, this is our last ever shot, and I went out the right way, and I'm happy. You know, it was kind of one of those things, we bend, but we didn't break, you know, and no matter what was going to happen, we were going to come back as hard as we could, and this is the most special moment ever, you know. It was hard losing those last 2 years, and finally getting one, it's the best feeling ever.
Hawkins is going to be a pitcher. He's going to play baseball.
Yeah, he's going to be playing baseball at SDSU.
But as he said, they'd lost the last 2 years to Sioux Falls Christian, and Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan gets it done.
He told us after the game that they were not going to let Winter in on that 4 plays that they stopped him at the goal line, and the teammates came through. 2
great programs. Jeff Van Leeuwen's been coaching for 40 years now, and he's really built something there at Bridgewater. Emery-Ethan is there, the 11B champions. And finally, tonight in Brookings, it was Brandon Valley and O'Gorman. Both teams 9-2 coming into this game, Jandy. And Brandon Valley's got a great kicker. His name's Jory Sorensen.
Yes. This is a guy who doesn't probably get enough pub. He's done a great job all season long, and he also punts.
Deserves some credit to get the Lynx out to a 3-0 lead there. And then on a 4th and 3 here, Zach Norton to tip Ryman. And O'Gorman gets to the lead.
Strong in the last month of the season. He's been catching touchdowns left and right.
7-3 Knights into the lead. O'Gorman fumbled. Dominic Tucker got on it for Brandon Valley, and it leads to a Tate Johnson touchdown. So Brandon Valley's in the lead 10-7 at halftime. Get to the third quarter, and Tegan Schlimgen.
He can run the ball a little bit.
He can run it, and he throws it wisely out here to Zach Norton. Norton had 4 catches. Scores on the screen here to put O'Gorman back in front, 14-10. Brandon Valley drives right back on the ground. Tate Johnson up and over again. He had 2 touchdowns on the evening. They missed the extra point there, though. Connor Pavelka blocked it, so it's 16-14. O'Gorman, Schlimgen to Logan Jones, and they call him down at the 1-yard line here. But that leads to a Tate Wishard touchdown, so it's 21-16 after 3 quarters, Jandy.
Yeah, it was all you could handle back and forth, but fourth quarter, things got really, really tough. What a play here by Thomas Skolton to escape. This is a 4th down play, by the way, but it's called back.
Cole Celiuson, yes, makes the touchdown catch there, but they call block in the back against Brandon Valley, so they've got a 4th and forever after that. And O'Gorman with a sack on the next play to get the ball back, and they run out the final 2.5 minutes. And oh, gee, their 10th win of the year is the championship, 21-16, the final. And Brandon Valley's offense had been flying high, but they just 155 yards total in the game, including 74 yards passing for Brandon Valley.
Yeah, job one was to stop Tate Johnson, and that's about as good as you can do on a kid who's run for 1,700 yards this year. Got to give hats off to the Knights on defense, and first title for them since 2005.
We're going to go to
play fast. Last few games, get our DN squeezing more, kill the run, and I think we'd be good on the pass. And it happened. We killed the run. Defense did an excellent job. They kept us in that game first half, which is much needed. Our offense didn't come out right away, but we stepped up and defense stepped up, so it was a good game for everyone.
Obviously, anytime you win a championship, it feels great, but to overcome Brandon and the troubles we've had the last 4 games with them, that's feathering our defense's cap. For how well they played to stop the run. That's an accomplishment that hasn't been done by very many teams. So I'm really proud of our defense, our defensive coaches Shannon and the rest of the crew. They did an outstanding job prepping for tonight.
Yeah, Knights go through Harrisburg, Roosevelt, and then they beat Brandon Valley in the championship.
What a run by the Knights, and this just goes to show how much parity there was in AAA this year. And it was so much fun because every week you had great matchups, and even a 2-loss team can get through to the championship game.
O'Gorman finishes 10-2 with the state championship. Brandon Valley, great year as they finish at 9-3 on the year. When we come back, we will bring you the rundown, and this is one big highlight from all of the championship games in North Dakota and South Dakota over the last 2 days. Welcome back. I know this is bittersweet for you, the last day of the season.
But there's a lot of memories that were made in the 2019 championships, and here's just a few of them with the rundown.
All right, let's go to 9A in South Dakota. Britton-Hecla, Canistota-Freeman, Janny, and Canistota-Freeman gets it done.
Really low-scoring second half, but they got it done with defense.
Viborg-Hurley, undefeated, 12-0 this year behind Chase Mason and Shane Anderson.
420-some total yards. Just crazy performance by Mason.
9B, Colman-Egan, Volker, and Tolly, and they run over Herreid-Selby area.
Got out of hand a little bit, but that Colman-Egan team is legit.
11A on Thursday night. It was Canton with the state championship, 46-8 over Lennox.
Moved up a class this year and finished up the season with 10 wins in a row.
Caden Burley, 309 yards. Garrett Stout threw for a couple, ran for a couple, took a kickback for a touchdown as Pierre goes undefeated, and they beat Brookings 32-16.
He had some crazy amount of touchdowns this year, I think 60-something.
Great game in 11B. Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan with the championship. 3 touchdown passes for Brady Hawkins.
Best game of the day, hands down. What an ending.
Great game here in 11 AAA as well, as O'Gorman with a sack on the final play for Brandon Valley in the game, and the Knights win it 21-16.
First title since 2005 for OG.
North Dakota Championships. Kidder County wins its first ever state championship in 9-man with the championship there over Cavalier.
Great support from that community. Great to hear from those kids. It's getting their first championship.
In Class A, Langdon-Edmore-Munich, the Romfos get it done as they beat Bishop Ryan 42-14.
Now, this is a team that's done it all season long, hadn't lost a game, a dominant year for the Cardinals.
In 2A, Hillsboro-Central Valley, the Burros. Gavin Wright had an interception and a touchdown catch. Oscar Benson was the MVP, and the Burros win at 35-12.
Oh, they're going to miss that guy. It's fun watching Oscar Benson over the last couple of years.
3A, Bismarck Century. Congrats to Coach Wingenbach. Cade Feeney to Skylar Reedinger there for the only touchdown. Century with 4 interceptions in the game as they beat West Fargo Sheyenne, and that was a great first appearance for Sheyenne in the championship.
Yeah.
congrats to them on a great year as well.
Yeah, they've piled up a lot of great wins in a row this year and made it one of the best championship games of the weekend.
Anything else coming up in the next week to wrap up the high school football season?
We're going to announce some awards here in a couple weeks, some of the players of the year, and we got volleyball next week too, so you can follow us on social for that.
All right, thanks to all of our guys here at Midco Sports Network, our shooters and producers and directors and everybody else. See you next
and Joey
season.